Now, hello,
Oh,
Hello.
welcome, Laser
Hello.
Sports Academy. I'm back doing stream and stuff. It's been a while. I took the last few streams off, I believe. I had Runt covering for me, so thank you very much to Runt for that. But we're back. We're back on the horse. We're here for our first batch of predictions for the Sunshine Coast cycle, I guess, for 2025. And yeah, if you didn't know, PN1 is this weekend. Is there any games Friday night, or is it just training and then it'll actually start Saturday?
just training, I believe.
Just training.
Yeah.
Cool. So it'll start Saturday. We'll share through the LSA thing as well all the relevant links and schedules and stuff for anyone wanting to track that. But anyway, how rude of me! I haven't introduced our guests yet. So we have 3 first-time guests on the LSA channel. We'll start with Phynn. How's it going, brother?
Oh, good. Hello.
Welcome. We have Pug,
Hello. How's it going?
and Peregrin.
Hey.
Awesome sauce. Now, so we're going to be running this like we've run the previous prediction streams with the whiteboard method. However, I'm not actually using the whiteboard. We're going to use just Google Sheets, but just do it in the same kind of fashion. Because one, the gimmick of the whiteboard is fun, but I have to sit like off camera, like my back twisted, getting like scoliosis, and it's not comfortable. So your boy couldn't be bothered doing that, but it'll be the same kind of sentiment.
Isn't that just practice for holding a wall?
Yeah, but you need your rest time, brother. You don't want to be doing it all the time. You don't want to be doing that at home, you know? Yeah, so for those of you that don't know or maybe haven't seen, we'll just give a refresher. So the way we'll do it is we'll go through all of the teams. I will go from 13th place through to first. Each of my guests, Phynn, Pug, and Peregrin, have got their own predictions from 13th to first. So we'll go through, okay, who's got who in 13th place, boom, 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 and then there'll be a discussion / argument over what team should actually be the final official LSA placing. And then maybe a tangent or two. But then hopefully the show will be wrapped up within an hour and a half with only 13 teams. Before we do, there's 3 things that I think should be pointed out before we actually get into talking about the teams, because they are going to be potentially extremely relevant for who we put where. Peregrin, I'll get you to explain those to us. So there was something to do with the arena being different, something to do with some lights in there, and then something to do with some different settings.
Yeah, so there's been a big arena change. So we've got all 3 new bases. A lot of the internals of the arenas have changed as well. So yeah, it's been a bit of change up in a lot of them, which is really cool. Red base is sort of the one that's undergoing the most change. It's actually been pulled off the wall entirely. There is a maze map up for like in the registration thing if you want to check that out.
I'll briefly get it up as well.
Yeah, they've changed the direction of the reloads in the arena as well to sort of create a different flow system, the way that people flow through the arena and the area around the door. So there's been a lot of changes there. We've been playing with a lot, and like they're starting to feel pretty good, but they're definitely feeling a lot different than they have in the past. For those that have played Sunny Coast Maze in the past, we've now got a lot more space outside and around the doors. So you can kind of see like, yeah, green, blue, and
there we
red.
go. It's being screenshot now.
Yeah, so they've all taken some fairly big changes, and like they've taken out the long passageway, particularly for like green and blue. There used to be a long way to get around to each of the doors. Like it used to be a long time to get between doors, but they've wiped that out now, created a lot more open space, and you can just kind of shoot between door to door to door. So it's a whole thing. Red is a whole funky thing as well.
Is that the UFO in there or whatever?
Yeah. So that's the UFO, creates that bit of a circle there with the base up on the inside. And that's just a barrel straight up in the middle of it, in the middle of the UFO as well. So it creates a really cool base. It's a bit squishy at the moment, but they're working on developing that out. But it creates a cool new flow that you can get all the way around that base, as opposed to like other iterations of the maze where it's been backed onto the wall or into a corner. Other big things that we're working with, we've got trigger lockout is now in action. So we're working with 60 millisecond lockout. So the player that is active currently has a bit of an advantage over the player that is deactive, which requires a lot more movement, a lot more like it changes the way people approach bases. Pug, I don't know about you, but I've been finding it feels a lot like it's harder to attack bases and it's a lot easier to defend.
Yeah, it's no good. I don't like it. I think anyone as an attacker won't like it anyway. So
But it
Yeah.
creates an interesting dynamic in the way that like you can't just run at a base, go stand next to the defender at the door, shoot them, and then run in the base. Like they're going to get you every time. So you've got to really change your approach to the base, and I think it's changing the way that the game is playing out. Like we're seeing a lot of teams utilize that middle area of the arena, waiting for an opportunity, and we're seeing more piggyback style attack rather than like being the first person to make the move, be the last one to make the move, and just capitalize on it. And the last thing that we've got going on in the arena now, which is great,
spicy
very
one.
exciting, very spicy. So there are a series of lights throughout the arena on the roof. They are currently programmed so that the lights in the middle of the arena will light up with the color of the team that is currently winning the game. There's also some additions to that where when somebody shoots a base, those lights will light up the color of the base that has been shot, followed by the color of the team that has shot that base. So it's sort of like you can sit in the middle of the arena or watch loads of lights in the middle of the arena and get a bit of a read the game for how it's flowing out. So it kind of like you can still do that as we do usually in a game. But if you're unsure, you can always check out those lights and just make a bit of a call based on that. I know it's definitely saved me on a couple of games where like I thought I was well behind. I've looked up and be like, oh no, we're actually winning and it's fine. Let's not do anything drastic. And then on the inverse, it also makes teams do something drastic because they know for a fact they're not ahead, or they know who is ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think there's certainly an argument for having something like that in play. I like that there's still a bit of mystery in terms you don't know what the obviously the gap between the team that's winning is. But like if you think about pretty much if not literally every other sport, like you know who's winning at all times, other than like combat sports, where they don't announce scores until the end. But like traditional sports, you know what the score is the whole time, so there's an argument for it. It's obviously very, very foreign to us, but I think people should give it a chance. And I haven't played with anything like that myself, so I can't say what it would feel like, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I will say that for sure, it definitely keeps the games interesting. Like it stops it from having a gameplay to the end of right to the end of the 12 minutes where a team sits there and doesn't do anything the whole time. Like even someone that doesn't know how to read a game can look at the lights and go, "Oh, we need to do something." So there's always action. We don't really get much of a stalemate game.
Always leads to a dump though.
It's always a dump. So far, that's only with Queensland teams. Let's see what everyone else does with it.
That's bring Canberra into it.
No, that's super cool. I think damn, like it makes me wish that because if it doesn't get used again, it makes me wish that I went to Prenats 1. Especially if they just like completely go like everyone was like, it was shocking, we're not doing it ever again. I would have liked to have been able to do that, but looking forward to hearing all about it from people that go like in the review stream and stuff as well. But I think those are three things that I wanted to get out there before we go through our predictions, because they are potentially relevant and where we place teams and like with the discussion going forward. But have you guys got anything else you want to say, or do we just get right into it?
Ready to get into it?
Yeah, I think it's better.
Okay. Bear with me then. Let me get not a whiteboard up. There he is. Cool. So what we've got here, I've just listed all of the teams on the left side in alphabetical order. Here's where we'll go through and list the individual predictions and what the final one is. And then we've got a bit of working space here, so we can put all the teams that we're talking about next to each other to kind of help us so we're not having to scroll all the time through the teams. We'll just get right into it. 13th place, Peregrin, who have you got?
Sorry, my guy, but Bean's boyfriends.
Oh,
That's brutal.
oh,
What?
Okay,
that's fair.
Pug, who have you got?
I got enter team 6.
Into team 6. I'm gonna like abbreviate them and stuff just so they
Yeah,
fit in here. Finn, who have you got?
I also had into Team 6.
Okay, it seems like we have a given by the reaction a hot take right off the rip, which is awesome. Peregrine,
I thought this
you're
was my
the
hot take.
you're the odd one out here. So give us the rundown, brother.
Cool. So it is a mixed team. And like there is admitted like there's a lot of good natural talent there. Like Finn is an incredible player. Like Plank has done some amazing things. We've seen like Bro Dizzle just emerge out of nowhere last year. And so like there's a lot of really good talent there. I think the team lacks a little bit of experience, in a sense. And I think that like the teams like Enter Team 6 and like Synergy are probably going to beat them out just partly on maze knowledge. Like part of the reason I would say against Enter Team 6 is that they are purely local kids, but Sunny Coast has a lot of cracked local kids.
Okay, Pug and Finn, I'll give you a chance to state your case.
Like,
Oh, you
oh,
go.
you go.
Sorry. No, you go.
I had 6 here because I think I spoke to a few people, and yeah, so it's like all new Sunny Coast kids, but then you've got Gaza, which I mean Gaza, right up there, right? But it makes it sort of a mixed team. So I guess to me it's a very unknown team because I don't know any of these people unless they went to Nats. So a lot of that was my reasoning for that, and for the few that I do know, not necessarily experienced per se. Like they've only been in the last 2 Nats, but usually it's like definitely not like a calling sort of player, and reading games and doing things. They're usually just another like player for the team to do their role, and they do it well most from what I've seen.
Pug, what's your take?
I feel like with Bones captain, like he's been doing pretty good at training, as it is. But if he takes out like Gaza, sorry if I've mispronounced it, I feel like the defense just lacks quite a bit. Weston is a good up and coming player. Hendo is good. He hasn't been training as much as Weston, but he's still up there. Gravy hasn't been training at all. Haven't seen her. I don't actually think I've seen Gravy at all. So that's something.
I think Gravy's been out for about 2 or 3 years.
Okay, well that's why I haven't seen her at all. And then Cheeto's pretty good. She'll do the job that you want her to do, but I just can't see it going too well.
What kind of, obviously as newer players, have Hendo and Weston taken a liking to a certain role or a position?
I'd probably say Hendo's more of your door defender, I'd say. Probably not inside a base. When I've been playing with Weston, I've been taking him out as attack, but he's probably more better suited to a defender sort of float, maybe. I don't know. What would you say, Peregrine? You probably played with them a bit more.
Yeah, that is definitely a defense-heavy team. Like you got Weston, Cheeto, Hendo, all quite capable on their defense. Bones can play a bit of everywhere. Like he knows this arena back to front. He's, I think, not quite at that like kind of shock level, but he's another one of those players as a local that's going to be able to just tear through bases, and it's whether or not everyone else can keep up with him. Like he's going to have a pretty easy time of like getting in and doing stuff. It's whether or not the rest of his team is going to be able to like follow up and capitalize on that. But like, I think probably end up with Cheeto inside a base, I would imagine. Hendo and Weston sitting on the outside. Weston might actually come out on a bit of attack because him and Bones do play together a fair bit. They're quite familiar with each other. It'll be, I think Gaza and Gravy are going to be like the odd ones out. Like Gaza's going to just be able to fold in anywhere. I think he's got the experience, he's got the capability, he's got the knowledge, he can just do it. And yeah, it'll be just, we really don't know what Gravy's going to be able to contribute. It'll be interesting to see where she slots in.
I guess also, why would you, Finn, I'll let you also defend your own team since Peregrine's put you under the bus. Why why would you put your team above Enter Team 6? You can gas yourself and the
there's-
boys up if you want.
Like, we're definitely a mixed team, but I think we've got a weird amount of, like, we've played together, because obviously you've got Dart and Cool Beans, and then you've got Brody and Plank at least from same site, not so much team. But then I've also played with Cool Beans and Dart, like, at separate times as well, and that's been okay, like, nothing bad. It's gelled pretty well. And, I mean, individually we all do well, and if we just play it simple, hopefully things are fine. I don't know. I'm giving us just like we're the boys. We're it. But things gel, I think, pretty well with across the team, despite being mixed. So
Yeah.
I think that's most of my reasoning. Other than like individually, a few of us have done pretty well.
Okay. Peregrin, do you consider yourself swayed, or are you willing to die on your Beans boyfriend?
No, I'll
13th hill.
I'll allow it. I would put Enter Team 6 a little bit higher up. I think there's other teams that would deserve to be lower than them. But I'll let this one slide. I think I'll work myself up. Don't worry. If I bottle it up, I'll get really angry at about 5th and 6th, and then
Okay.
I can unleash there.
All right. Well, we'll put in for now Enter Team 6 in 13th place. That's annoying. That's not centered. There we go. We can shuffle things later, like as we talk about 11th and 10th. If we go like, "Ooh, actually, that doesn't make sense," we can shuffle things around. But that's what we'll put in for now. Okay. 12th place, Peregrine. Who did you have?
I had Synergy.
Synergy. Pug.
Talk 30 to me.
Talk dirty to me. Okay. And Phynn, who did you have?
I also had Synergy.
That's
Let's talk 30, isn't it? That's clever.
yeah.
I like that. That's quite funny. Are they all old, I'm guessing?
Most,
Old farts?
Most, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. That's cool. Nice. Okay. Well, let me get them on our little not a whiteboard. Boom. And talk 30 to me. Boom. All right. Pug, you're the odd one out. So talk me through it. Why did you put him in 12th?
So, like, I guess I was tossing up between these two teams in this spot. I sort of thought that Synergy would place one higher just because they would have more cohesion together.
More synergy.
More synergy, yeah. I know that Ems and Shaz like playing together, and Cart's a Sunny Coast kid, so he's been playing with Shaz quite a bit, I'd assume. Polkroom and Wildcard play well together. And then just looking at Talk 30 to me, there's Insomniac, who's been the only one sort of training this arena. Gypsy hasn't been training too much, I think because of work and whatnot. Red Devil and Arbor I'm not sure about, and Bubbles is like a solo player, right? Or something like that. So I can't see Talk 30 to me's attack doing as well as Synergy's attack. And yeah, defensive wise, I think Synergy has it as well. But yeah, that's how I see it.
All right, Peregrine, Finn, give us your. Why would you put Synergy in 12th over Talk 30 to me?
I thought it was a bit of this is mixed team, which affects a lot of it. But like you've got Carton, Ems, and Shaz, who I remember Firebird mentioning Carton being like the GOAT in Sunny Coast, or like insane, which kind of like messed me with figuring out how this would work. But then I've also played with Polka, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love playing with this dude, and he does like pretty well for these sort of mixed teams as well. But I'm interested to see who's like captaining, because in terms of experience, it's a bit rare, like all over. Like Zach captained or Wildcard captained this year.
I think it'll be Carton for Synergy.
Yeah,
I think.
neat. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be Carton captain, Wildcard or Shaz as last line, and then Emmy and Holchrome as, I guess, defense, first out, second out sort of thing.
Yeah, neat. I don't know. I kept looking at Talk 30 to me, and I thought they were gonna do better just on like experience as well. Like, yeah, Bubbles doesn't have like the training, but he always just rocks up, kills everyone, and goes, cool. And like he can drag the people through, and the other people, at least Arbol, Devil, because I think they're the only ones I've really seen, they're pretty solid. Like, especially if you put them in the low tier. So when it gets to like Cascades and they're around this level, I think they're going to be chilling.
Yeah, I kind of back that. Like in that sense, I think that Talk 30 to me has it on the experience. I think they're going to be able to adapt a lot better as things as everything comes up weird and things are like. I think they're going to have a slow start, but they're going to get into it. Like Arbol, Red Devil, Insomniac, pretty familiar with each other. Play with it. I think they're playing around each other at least enough. Bubbles will do what Bubbles does, and Ghibli's good. Like she's solid. She's solid enough to just fold into somewhere and do the things that she needs to do. I think coordination is going to be their problem. The synergy though, I think they're going to have that bit of an issue where like there's a really good energy amongst those players in that team. But I think if they all are the kind of players that like if they let their heads drop, they're just gonna coast to the finish. Like you've got like Carton is like a super reliable player. I've loved playing with Ems every time I have played with her. Shaz has got like a really cool vibe around her. But then you're gonna have like players like Wildcard that's gonna sort of get lost in a little bit of things, and Polchrome who is directly quoted as saying, "I don't com because I'm shit at it." So
That's crazy.
So like when you've got like that bit of disconnection, I think it's going to be a bit of a thing. I think the team's going to like lack a bit of creativity once things start to shake up. Where I think Talk 30 to me is going to have that experience to go, all right, cool. Now we try this. Now we try this. Now we do something different.
Pug, do you consider yourself convinced, or you want to die on this hill?
I feel like I'm gonna die on this hill. I think. I feel like we could talk back to the lights in the middle of the arena, and I could give Carton like an
he's
edge
got
on how to
he's
play
got
it.
the
Yeah.
home side advantage for
Yeah.
real with the lights as well. That's true.
So I feel like I'm gonna stick with Synergy. I think. Not Synergy. Sorry, Talk 30 to me here.
Are Shaz and Ems Sunny Coast or Launton players?
Shaz is a Sunny Coast. Ems is a Launton.
Okay. So they got, their new person is a local as well. It's hard. It's definitely like a case of like that classic like experience versus just like new up and coming talent. Obviously, I mean Carton's been around for a while, but yeah. All I'll say is I'm gonna gas up Carton a little bit. Where I think if it wasn't Nats, it was definitely like pre-Nats 3 or something. He was my nemesis because he put me through like a reload maybe multiple times.
Actual goat.
That guy's great. And I'm like in his own arena, I just imagine that he's like a different kind of beast. So I'm actually, I'm looking forward to seeing how Carton goes. Yeah, I don't know. Has anyone got any other bits they've been holding back or something they've thought of?
I think like there is going to be a thing like a good point about with the lights in particular, because like as someone who has like done a decent bit of captaining, when I found out about the lights and it was going to be a thing, it still took me probably 2 weeks to go, oh, that's right, they're there. Like remembering that they're there and getting used to them is a whole thing.
Pre-Nats isn't over 2 weeks.
I think that actually kind of puts me a point closer to Talk 30 to me going in that 12th spot.
All right. Phynn, you got any thoughts, feelings? What's going on?
I mean, with the lights, if Talk 30 to me gets an idea of it, or they just use their experience to read the game normally, maybe they'll be fine. But aside from, I guess, trying to get Synergy to dump, which is a interesting play with a mixed team, like what exactly are we expecting Carton to do with the like go or like push things and get a general read of we're up or not? But what if they're not up? Like, what's Carton going to get the team to do? Is I think the
Yeah. All right, now I'll stick with me. I'll stick with Synergy at 12. I think I'm happy with that.
Same.
All right. Hard luck, Bug.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
That's so fair.
Cool. All right. Again, things might shift as like the discussion keeps on going, but for now, Synergy 12th place. 11th, Peregrine, who you got?
Talk 30 to me.
Talk dirty to you. Okay. Pug?
I had Synergy.
Okay.
Who
Yeah.
you
I think this might be an easy thing,
Yeah.
depending
got?
on
This one
Finn.
rolls in.
I had talk 30 to me as well.
Yeah.
It is.
Alright.
That's so fair.
Yes. So by default, we got Talk 30 to me in there. That's cool. That's what I like about this system. It kind of like sometimes it just like
Gels itself together.
it just makes sense. Okay. Cool. 10th, Peregrine. Who you got?
Enter Team 6. That's where I ended up.
Team
That's where I put them up there.
Okay. Into Team 6. Oh yeah, crikey. Yeah, Pug.
I had Bean's boyfriends.
Beans. And Finn, who'd you have?
I also had Bean's boyfriends.
Okay. Again, it's another one that kind of just makes sense, but I guess I'll just, for the sake of discussion, I'll put that and Synergy there, I guess. How do you guys feel about Bean's boyfriends being in 10th after like looking at how everything else is shaped out? Does anyone want to change their predictions from what they had, or are we pretty happy with this?
I'm pretty
I'm
happy
okay.
with it.
Because you have other. After Peregrine put you in the bin, dude.
You better prove me wrong. I swear.
No, we'll be there. We'll be there.
All right. Sounds like beans are going in here. Up the beans.
Easy.
Cool. Nice and easy then. Okay. I'm gonna ask for your predictions for ninth, and then I'm gonna leave you to talk for a bit because I have food on the stove and I need to take it off the stove.
Oh, it's time.
Yeah.
It's that time. So Peregrine, who'd you have in ninth?
I had the professors.
Professors. Have I spelled it right? Yes, I can spell. Fantastic. Attaboy. Bug, who'd you have?
I had the professors.
Oh no.
Finn? Who'd you
I
have?
might have stuffed up. I had beep beep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
buddy.
spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy. All right, well, let me get them on screen. Beep, beep, and the professors. Okay, Finn, I'll get you to start off.
Talk about our new players, Finn.
And then I'll be back. I'll be back.
This one,
Yeah.
this is just I don't know enough people. So I see three names I know, and I'm like, all right, I know that, and then there's the rest. But
Yeah,
with the
that's fair.
professors, I was like, I know at least a few more of them, and I've heard hype for like Dirtbag as well. He's like the only new player here that I've heard hype for, and I just know Innie.
Mm.
Like I don't know how well they play, but I know them. So I was like, I'll give them like something, and I think a few other people had convinced me that they would be slightly higher when I had talked about this. But then it's Sunny Coast and Queensland rookies, like
Yeah. It's the thing. It's the thing you gotta keep in mind. You got to consider here, like Shock and Moss is one of those like upcoming like as those players over the last few years that have just emerged out of fucking nowhere and just torn shit up. Now you put them in their home arena, like
yeah,
and they're playing
Yeah.
with players that they learned how to play with as well.
true.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Cyrex is captaining. Like I get like Shock's at the top, but I would
I
imagine
think Shock will
Cyrex.
be in-game captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cyrex usually does a lot of like, out of game management for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I went with the professors because it Pug, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not just a QPL team? Does that
It's
look
not.
like a QPL team?
It definitely looks like one. I don't know if it is one though.
Yeah. So we have our Queensland Premier League is our we put all of our like Sunshine Coast and Lawton players all together, mix them up, and have our like Queensland League basically, and that's the kind of quality of a team that you kind of end up seeing that around about that with one of those. Like Grubb's a great captain. He's a really good player. Has is like cracked inside of a base. He's going to do amazing things. Thick Jim. Is he left-handed as well?
Yes.
They've
That's
got
three
three
left- okay,
lefties.
they
They've got
got
three
You
lefties.
got 3 lefties, but that's okay because in my opinion, I reckon that the Sunshine Coast base, the Sunshine Coast bases, have been designed specifically to fuck over left-handers. I think Mopar's had it. I think
Bro,
Mopar's
I
had enough
cannot
of it.
shoot Moss out. I cannot shoot Moss out.
That's also Moss, but like they had to figure some stuff out, but it is not kind to left-handers. But yeah, like Innie and Dirtbag being as the rookies, like Dirtbag is great, like he's really good, but he is a Launton player as well. So he's had a little less practice, had a little less time in the Sunshine Coast Arena, and he's been in and around doing the similar thing, like getting up when they can and getting in and playing. So we're definitely seeing them pick up and get a bit of a rise on, but I think they might find themselves drowning a little bit with all the other players that are around. Particularly like the higher tier players coming in from out of state, like they might have that that thing of suddenly they've got new play styles that they need to deal with. They got new players that they need to deal with. These are rookies that also play with like some of the best players in the country. Being that they play with a lot of like the Catalyst guys, the former Eclipse guys, and then got all the Sunny Coast players coming down as well. Like they know who the big players are and who to be afraid of.
Yeah, neat. Like I think I had these two. My next one is just professors, right? But I think that's mostly just because I saw the names. I'm like more familiar and less like new, I guess. Or there was more info for the professors, at least for me. But like the home site, and everything. Yeah, like I'm I can be convinced of professors being here. Like it makes enough sense to me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in and around that spot.
Yeah.
I think like they are all locals, but I think they're going to have that like top 3, bottom 2 kind of vibe, where they're just going to struggle to convert. Being that they've only got 5, they have to rely on Innie and Dirtbag pulling through every single game as well if they want to keep up with everything.
True.
Yeah.
Hello,
is it
I'm
gonna
back.
be same sort of thing with Benbow Newt Pandas then? Like, because they're gonna have to rely on up to 3 a game, depending on like who they have
Benbow
in.
Newt Pandas can 100% pull through every game.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can back Newt and Pandas. I haven't really. I haven't seen Benbow train too much. I don't know, but yeah.
I'm back. I have an Irish stew. There he is.
Yeah. Look at you eating your native broth.
Yep. Message me if you want the recipe. Put a whole can of Guinness in this thing. So that's that authentic Irish stew. Thank you for doing your thing. So the vibe I got, I had my ears on, is that one, Shock and Moss in their home arena is going to be pretty scary. 2, the Beep rookies are Sunny Coast rookies versus the Professors rookies are Launton rookies. So just like don't have so much time in the arena. And that was the main gist of it. And 3 lefties on the Professors, and Mopar hates left-handers, and he's is that the essence of it?
That is unconfirmed. I think that's mostly my own opinion, but I feel like I've had visions of this man going around left-handed in this arena, going, "Nah, can't have that," and removing.
That's awesome. Cool. So are we all happy with Professors in 9th then?
Yeah.
That's cool. And then Phynn, did you say you had Professors in 8th anyways?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so it was we had, did you guys have Beep in 8th?
I
or did
had
you have
Warriors. I had Warriors.
I also had Warriors.
Okay, so we have Warriors in 8th from Peregrin, Warriors in 8th from Pug, and then you had Professors in 8th. Okay. Well, let me get the Warriors up. Boom. Okay. Well, Phynn, once again, you were the odd one out, so you get to start.
Crazy.
So what's your reason for having the Professors
below the Warriors?
Below the Warriors. Yeah.
I rate the Warriors. For me, they're the team that I want to see. Like I think is going to be like mid level, or at least that's where I did the prediction. But I can see them just maybe doing better or worse, which is they're my weird mixed one. Because, and this is going off just like the only times I've ever seen them go from like anything to H Pro again, and then going back to like H2, because we've got when they did Bendigo Nats, and they were in like low end, but then we see them do really well at Hobart. Like they improved a shit ton.
That's
But
actually a really
even-
good point. Different system.
Yeah, but like a month before Hobart Nationals, they came down to Canberra, played H Pro, and then I think they had a few other things. I think Shirikity was like injured or something like that. But like they weren't as hot as they were in their like home arena and or H2. But then we see even from like Hobart to Albury, like massive improvement again. So like I would hope that this is going to also translate to like H Pro, like going back down a system, but also like the synergy across that team I think is gonna do well, like the cohesion.
Mm.
Like, cause a lot of them, even with like Celery, who I don't think is from Tasmania, but he keeps playing with them and it keeps going well. So like, I see that they can do well, but I'm more curious just to see where they go with like H Pro, because the last time I'd seen it was like weird.
That's cool. Peregrine and Pug, what's your thoughts?
I'm kind of like, yeah, I was kind of in that same, like, I could see Warriors doing some really good stuff. Like, you've got like a good core of the Archangels there, and then plus Salary coming in too. Like Salary, I think is one of those underrated players that sort of has like flown under the radar for a long time. Always performs really well. Always does a really good job. I think he always just sort of finds himself on a team that doesn't suit for him. Like I feel like take Salary out of Victoria, put Salary on any other team out of that state, and you're gonna start to see him actually shine really well. They might have a bit of a struggle, I think. Yeah, going for the difference, going back to the Helios Pro system, and then you add lockout on top of that. That could be a thing that they're a bit more used to because they've played a lot of Nexus time. Maybe. Something a little bit more used to, but they'll have to sort of adapt really quickly to it. From what I've seen of their like attack style, particularly when you look at like the way like Sega and Shurikity play and attack, they're very much like, come stand next to you, I'm going to get up in your face, I'm going to shoot you. And if they try and do that with lockout, they're just going to die.
Yeah, I had them here just because of the change in the system, really. Like I think I played the Canberra comp with them as well. And yeah, they didn't really do too well on H Pro. I didn't know Shirikity was injured at the time, but
neither did I. I think we found out like a month or so later. Like someone
Yeah.
mentioned it, I was like, yeah, fair.
yeah.
I think
makes
something
sense.
I'll point out on the trigger lockout, front, is that Hobart has been going pretty hard on their worlds training. So they definitely would have been playing with lockout, and to my understanding, they actually enjoyed playing with lockout previous. Like, I mean, we almost had
Sick freaks.
trigger lockout being played at one of the Hobart prenuts as well. So 60 MS trigger lockout is something they're going to be very familiar with, especially if they're playing right now in Hobart, where it is, as far as I'm aware, all world settings. But that is another thing to take into account, is whether they're going to be kind of like seesawing between 2 shots per second and world settings. Like, are they doing any 2 shot per second training? Is the transition back from 1 shot per second stuns training to go into a 2 shots per second tournament going to make a difference? That's another factor, but I would say they're going to be pretty comfortable with the trigger lockout, at least.
I
But
think something else to note might also be the lights. It's like, since this is going to come into play, and like the Archangels started doing a lot of dumping at the end of like Nats and Pre-3, with pretty much all these players barring easy points. But like dumping works well when you have cohesion. They do a lot of dumping. They just have to look up now and they go, haha, it's time.
That's it.
Now.
When the light gets to red, we go.
Exactly. Like that was, I think, another thing where I think that's why I can see them doing better as well, is with this new like light edition. They're gonna do another Ascensions run. Like they're just gonna go up a couple more spots just because they can.
I feel like this arena sort of suits their playstyle a little, like getting 2 people inside a base and locking it. Because if you can do that well, especially at like actually all bases, you can do it pretty easily, I guess.
Yeah.
So they could, I guess, be bumped up a little bit, but yeah.
Do you want to, or are we sticking to our guns here? We can
Yeah.
circle back if we talk about other teams and we change our mind as well.
Yeah, might have to circle back to it. I think I might swap them with the 7th place team, but I'm not sure yet.
All right. Well, shall we? I'll preliminarily put Warriors there, and then we'll whip up our 7th place predictions. So, Peregrine, who did you have?
All right. So I'm just going to preface this by saying my 13th to 8, I'm like, yeah, excellent. And I reckon there's a gap between 8 to 7, and then it gets really tricky. So I'm gonna rustle some feathers here and say the boys are back in town.
Oh my god, that's very spicy. The boys are back in town. Okay, Pug, who did you have?
I have beep beep.
Beep, beep. And Finn, who'd you have?
This is where I land with Warriors.
Warriors. Okay, so let's get Warriors.
This is our first different one, guys. We did it.
That's exciting. And the boys are back in town. Feathers have been rustled, brother. Interesting. The boys are back in town. We'll abbreviate that one. That's crazy, dude. Right, cool.
I can see the boys are back in town here as well. This was another one I was tossing between beep beep and the boys are back in town.
Oh my god,
Just because,
really?
like, at training, like Shock and Moss are crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like the boys are back in town have been playing well, but they haven't been performing as well as I would have thought they were.
Yeah, it's not fully pulled together yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The synergy with the synergy with Beep Beep I would say beat the synergy with the boys are back in town.
Yeah. So I say like Beep Beep is like, I don't know if you heard about this one, Pug, but this is otherwise known as the child team. So this is like when so a lot of people like Cyrax is our like league coordinator up at Sunshine Coast and runs a lot of the leagues, and this is like a dream team. Has been like these 4 or 5 kids that have just been she's been raising them up through laser tag over time, and it's been a dream to put all these kids together and just see how far they could go. Like Shock and Moss are the first ones that made it out of there, but to be fair, I reckon Benbow, Newton, and Pandas weren't all that far behind. There's definitely like a gap. There's definitely a significant gap there, and part of it's there. Part of it's like the passion for it. Part of it's the age, but like these guys are genuinely pretty good.
I think I only put the boys back in town higher just because of what's the one I'm looking for? They have more experience, I'd say.
It's cool to see Stalkers back though. That's really cool.
Yeah, so with Stalker and Fuzzy both making a return, that's like 4 of that team is like former Spartans from Darwin and Sunshine Coast, I think.
Yeah,
and Rat is a local rookie. Rat is like is quite good there as well. Like Rat definitely would have fit into that Beep Beep team around that same sort of level. Probably even as a higher spot than Benbow Pandas, I'd even say. Like he's really good. I think he still requires a bit of direction, but you put him inside a base and you give him comms, you're gonna have a lot of trouble. Like he's a wiggly little player. It's hard to tell where he is and what he's doing.
Finn. So obviously we've already predicted Warriors.
Yeah.
But with your current Warriors prediction in 7th, looking at these teams again, do you still think? Do you still agree with your placement, or would you want to change it if you could?
I do only based off what we have, but I mean, if we're going off what's here, I think I'm more in favor of Beep Beep being here. Like if you're saying that Rat is on like the level of Benbow, Newton, Pandas, or maybe slightly above or something, and then you've got OG Spartans on top of that, like just in aside from home site, isn't that like more or less going to be better than Beep Beep?
Well, the only thing you're missing there from OG Spartans is Mad Cans as the tactical brain. So there is a bit of that still at the moment with that particular team, is figuring out who's running games and how they're running games. So Potato historically can run games, doesn't really like running games, doesn't really want to. But
if Shock's also doing the in-game captaining, like how does he do compared to let's say any of the the
He
boys.
can push his players through a lot easier than the people on the boys, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stalker, Fuzzy coming back as well. They're not in their prime anymore.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be as good as they were.
Yeah, definitely still shaking off a bit of the rust. Like the top of that team definitely still sits with like Potato, Stalker, Zeropa. But again, having that like 5-person team, it sort of goes back to like what we were saying about like one of the teams earlier, is that now they have to rely on Fuzzy and Rat to pull through every single game.
Yeah.
Pug, you've been
I'd be
the
inclined-
way you've been talking is kind of like I'm getting a vibe from you that you want to change yours.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put the boys back in town here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Okay.
so. It makes more sense.
Can we all agree with this?
I think
Yeah,
I've been
I think-
convinced as well.
I think they can pull it through just on like some raw skill stuff, but we'll just see if they can get it to work. Whereas I
Alright.
know that Beat Pete team, half that team has been following Shock, Moss, and Cyrex for like those rookies know how to follow those other three.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Sixth. Who have we got? Peregrin.
Sixth. Here we go again. This is where I put one up.
That one's a crazy take.
Yeah.
Okay, Pug.
I had the boys are back in town, so I guess mine will be beat.
Yeah, we'll put beep there since you changed your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, Phynn.
I had Shark Lips.
Shark lips. Shark lips. All right, let me get one up and shark lips on the board. Okay, Peregrine. I think once again you have, judging by Pug's reaction, and yeah, an interesting take. So, like, I want to hear from you first. So,
Okay. I say this with love, but we've got Guinea, yeah, Crouchy, and Spider in an arena that has half walls inside the base. This arena, these bases require you to get low and get down, and squeeze into small places. I think that I think there's going to be a little bit of a struggle with it. It's a really good mix of players. Like, it's going to be a weird thing where like Kansas is going to want to make the guys go really fast. I think Spider's going to want to make everyone go really slow, and it's going to be a weird mix between the two. It'll be interesting to see who's actually like, is Guinea the captain for this team? Is he going to be running games? Are they going to pass it to Kansas, the local? What are each of these players going to be doing? And again, when you've got like the foreseeable last line person I could see in there would be Spider, and you're in an arena that says "fuck you" to lefties. So I think it's going to be a thing. I do think that the trigger lockout is going to help the one-up guys, and I think they're going to enjoy that. We've heard them be big proponents of it in the past, and so it sounds like they really like it and really enjoy it. So it might be a big thing that like they get along with.
Guinea said Cairns is running.
Kansas is running. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see if like I know that Crouchy is like a small guy, but he's a solid guy. And I don't know if he's got the like the age, the youth in his knees to get low.
I guess we'll soon
Crazy.
find out. Pug, Phynn, I want to hear from you guys. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I can't see Beep going past the rest of the teams, I don't think. I see One Up doing a lot better than Sixth, just because like Spider and Cans are still really good players, and One Up I think will go really well on Trigger Lockout as well. Yeah, I don't think the rookies could potentially do better than this team, but it could go either way. I can see One Up in my spot dropping a bit, but I can't see him dropping to Sixth.
All right, and Phynn, you had Shark Lips here. So what are your thoughts?
I think I'm in roughly the same boat. Like, if you put all three of these in the game, I think like Beep's the one losing it. Although Shark Lips also I think might end up here just mixed team thing again. Like, I know that it's going to be their world's team or similar to. I don't know if it's 100%.
I don't know if Mushu's on it or not, but
yeah, I think that was the one I
pretty
wasn't
similar.
sure about.
I think
But
he is, isn't
I have the world's list handy.
okay.
Let
Oh,
me
neat.
find out for us.
Yeah, and then I rate one up. I think they're gonna do like pretty well in this comp. Like I figured it was gonna be like Cans crouchy out, and then Spider does Spider things. Like he just plays well, and yeah, if he goes last one, I think that'd be cooked.
I feel like
But-
you can play Spider on the ramp and he will go crazy because no one will be able to go
so
near him and he can have sight of everything.
True.
Um,
He's gonna be agree. Oh, he's gonna rail me from all over the maze.
because like
Sounds like a dream.
you can see the front, the back doors of blue and green from the ramp, and
Oh,
then
grim.
you can kind of see a little bit through to red, but you can't see any of the doors. But it's still brutal.
This Shark Lips team is the world's team. They're just missing Mopar.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I also figured that like generally consistent thing that I think at least for the Eclipse half of Shark Lips was just like fighting each other, and then you put that onto a mixed team, and you go cool. No, like bad communication that can happen with these sort of teams, and like a history of going, you know what, you're the problem, not me. Doesn't sound like a great mix. Like I think individually all these players are going to do well, so like it could help bump it up a couple other spots generally, but it's that like mix and what they've shown before, which I think will be interesting. And I don't know enough about Mushu as well.
I think that actually does bring a good point there. Like for that part of the Eclipse team, like Type and Noodle Orcry, in like historically are the most argumentative of that team.
Yeah. They have gotten better, but it's not. I don't know. I haven't seen them argue in a bit.
And we know Orcry's been on a break for a while as well. Like he's hardly touched a pack since last Nats. Like I've seen him here and there, drop in and here and there, but he's taking a big break at the moment.
Yeah.
So he's
All right. Well, we're at a bit of an impasse. Has anyone got any changes in feelings for their prediction, or?
I will concede beep beep to this spot because I only had them one spot higher, so I'd be willing to concede that to that spot. Like I could sort of see that. I still think, like I'm happy to put them in that place, but I still think they're going to run circles around some people. I think it's going to be another one of those teams like when we had Storm come out in Bendigo and people were like blown away that this is supposed to be a development team. I think it's going to be a similar story.
All right. Are all three of us happy for now to have beep beep in sixth? We can change it later again.
For sure.
I think so.
Okay. Oh, beep, beep.
Sorry, Cyrix.
We have some beep beepers in the chat, so they're not happy with yours, but all right. So Peregrin, you had beep beep in fifth.
I did, yes.
Hug, who did you have?
I had blue steel.
And Phynn, who did you have in fifth?
I had Behemoth.
Behemoth.
B-Meth.
Meth. Okay. Beep beep. Blue steel. That's cool. Let's call the boys about. Oh my god. It is blue steel. Let's see. And what am I looking for? Behemoth. Blue steel. Do we know if this is going to be the team for Nats?
No,
Surely Dodger playing with Catalyst.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're just seeing a return of Blitz and Adam just for this.
Yeah.
Just for this. Okay. Yeah. I kind of got the vibe that they were done. It'd be cool. Again, I'm sad I missed out on this tournament. It would have been cool to see those guys.
It's always a good time when Blitz appears.
It is. It's nice. I think I started the same year as Blitz and Adam as well in 2015, or at least for like nationals, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
So
I was in grade 5.
Oh, nice.
Child.
I mean, I was only 14. I was 14 at my first Nats.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's fair though. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, damn. Okay. So we have Peregrine with Beep Beep, Pug with Blue Steel, Phynn with Behemoth. It's the first time seeing Blue Steel, so Pug and Behemoth. So I guess Pug, I'll get you to start with Blue Steel, and then Phynn, you can talk to us about your Behemoth pick.
I think I go with blue steel here just because I I haven't seen Adam play too much. I know he's good. I just haven't seen him play too much, and I haven't seen Blitz play at all. So I'm probably very wrong, I guess. But yeah, I see it as if Dodge takes Adam out for like a few hits, their defense lacks quite a bit. Like I guess Mopar plays last line or something.
Probably.
Stingrays float and Robo on a door, and I just can't see it going too well. This is a team that can go higher. It can't go lower than this. I'm near positive, but yeah, I feel like their attack is very strong. Their defense not so much.
Okay, sure. Has anyone else got any thoughts on Blue Steel before Finn? You can talk to us about Behemoth.
Blitz, yeah, I think Darwin was the last time he played.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've actually seen him even.
Well, he played a pre-Nats in Bentigo, actually. He played one
Yes,
pre-Nats.
yeah, Parents Benigo, and that was also the last time Adam played as under Reflex, as well. So they've been out. Yeah, they've definitely been out for a while. Like Robo, Stingray, Mopar, Dodge, they're consistent. They're around a lot. Mopar knows this arena, like he built it, and he knows all the little tricks. He knows this place inside out. And I think he's got some really interesting thoughts on how to play the arena. And I think he's playing it a bit different than everyone else is. So he's going to see a bit of that influence. Robo's always solid on a door. Like he's one of the most reliable people I think you can have. And then again, you affect trigger lock out onto that, trying to walk through that man with that level of experience, that level of skill while he's active, is going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're going to be one of those two. I think we're going to see them stay in that sort of top 5 kind of region.
Yeah. All right, Finn, talk to us about Behemoth. Why have you got him 5th?
I think initially I thought it was just gonna I looked at the players. I'm like, oh, they're all really solid from everything I know, but I don't know how much you've all played together. Whereas I think every team from this point onwards has played like a pretty consistent amount together, and I think that was a big part. Like Blue Steel, especially if you're saying Mopar like maybe cooking up some crazy strats or just like ways to do things. Like they're going to be pushing pretty far, I reckon. And just I think this one just came down to a cohesion thing for me, aside from just like pure ability, because I think across the board there everyone's like solid. But then it's what are you guys going to do with that? That I think some of the other teams are going to do maybe slightly better just because they've done it before. Or
So Behemoth was a team for Darwin 2021.
Did you have Bread?
Yeah. No, so the difference there would be Sparrow and Bread. So we've dropped out Griffo and E, or Molten at the time.
Molten, yeah. That was 2020, brother. It was
2020. Geez, yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know anything about 2020. Forgotten year.
That said, like historically speaking, a shit team, like not good. We like that team was absolute magic. Just none of that happened in the arena.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, actually, no, you guys were one of the teams. Like that was Aftershock's first year as like kind of the modern Aftershock, I guess. And when we looked at your team on paper, we were like, "Fuck, that's pretty good." But you guys just kind of, I don't know. You guys just collectively shit the bed.
Oh, absolutely. Well, everything it was a New South Wales team because like Dark Passion and Griffo moved down to New South Wales. Then Firebird and I moved up to Queensland, and then everyone just split out. And then we eventually got ourselves back together and had a wonderful time. Best Nats, best team I've ever played on by far. Shit team.
Awesome. Okay. Would you put, after just completely putting your own team in the bin, how do you feel about your chances against Beat now that you think?
I think we've got them. I definitely think we've got them pretty well. Like again, it's those are like good rookies, but I know those rookies, and we can. I know that we can put them down as needed.
Put them down.
That's crazy. That's a crazy way to say it.
And those still children. I am not afraid to beat on some children.
Run through them. That's
Someone
also
clip
a
that.
crazy way to say it.
Clip.
Beat on some children is wild.
Yeah. Favorite pastime. Okay.
I think we've got an edge on Blue Steel just by at least having one more consistent player. Like Blitz and Adam being out of the game for ages. We've got Sparrow hasn't played in a very long time on Behemoth, but Bread, Volley, Dark Passion, Firebird, Peregrin, we've all been around, so we've got the
Yeah.
practice in us, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Well, has anyone's thoughts or feelings shifted about their 5th place placement? Obviously, Peregrine, you had beat, but they've already been placed in 6th. Is there anything?
I put Blue Steel as my next pick on these guys on that.
Okay. Pug, would you want to stick with your Blue Steel pick?
Let me just take a quick gander. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep Blue Steel here.
Okay. And Finn, you had Behemoth, but
Yeah.
would you be happy to concede Blue Steel to 5th?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I feel like the next one might just kind of slot into place. Who did y'all have in 4th?
I had Blue Steel.
Blue Steel. Okay.
I had Shark Lips.
Shark Lips.
This is where I put Boys Back in Town.
The boys are back in town. Okay, interesting. All right. So
I'm really curious as where you put the boys back in town now.
Me?
Because I haven't heard you.
Oh
put
no,
them-
it's just because I swapped Beep around. Like,
it was.
yeah, because I had
yeah,
the
it was-
boys are back in town at 7th.
I'm gonna put your original predictions in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So for future reference.
Yeah.
Do a little see who was the most accurate predictor. That being said, okay, so Blue Steel and the boys are back in town have already been placed. So Finn and Peregrine, is there any? What team would you put in 4th place if not these teams? Stuff.
Probably Shark Lips.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be it. Like I had them placed higher than us, but as I've been sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, no. I'm busy gassing myself up, so I'll put Shark Clips there.
Interesting gassing yourself up when half of what 75% of what you said
I'm
was
so
was
shit. I'm so shit. Actually, no, I'm not that bad.
It's called being humble, guys. Just try it out sometime.
Interesting. Okay. Well, let's put Shark Lips here for now, and then that might shift around as we talk about the next team. So we're breaking into our top 3 picks now. Peregrine, who'd you have in 3rd?
I had Behemoth.
Okay. Pug?
I had 1 up.
1 up. Okay. And Finn?
1 up.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess we haven't placed 1 up yet, have we? No.
No, not yet.
Peregrine, talk to us about why Behemoth is gonna beat out because you had 1 up quite low, didn't you? Yeah. Talk to us about that.
I think partly it's a sort of like an experience, partly experiencing in the local scene. I think we've got a lot more people here that are like playing here a lot, doing a lot of stuff, and I've got to have faith. I got to have faith in the guys. I got to believe that it's going to come together well. Like between the mix up of what we've got on Behemoth as opposed to the the mix up of what's on 1 up, I think we've got a bit more versatility in that sense. Whereas I think 1 up's going to have a bit more rigidity in the way that they play and the way that they structure out their games, or the way that they structure out their people. I don't know. What do you guys reckon?
I think you guys have an advantage over 1 up just because you have yourself, Firebird, Volley. Oh, not so much Volley because he hasn't been there, but I mean in terms of training at Sunny Coast. I feel like DP and Volley are all like they're pretty good. They don't train too much and they're always pretty good. So I feel like they could probably beat the roster for 1 up. And then Bread and Sparrow just on a door can be reliable as well.
Finn?
I think you're probably right on the them being rigid, but it's not like they can't make that work. Like we've seen using Rampage as the example, so Spider's like actual team, they usually play in a generally set structure where it doesn't stray too far, but it still just works, right?
Mm.
And I think across the board here, you've got a more experienced team, and who are also they've been doing it for. I mean, experience in a number of ways, which means they've been doing a lot of this longer as well, and they can do roughly the exact same structure. I feel, just maybe in a slightly different way. And I think also with the like 60 millisecond lockout, and then like the lights, Spider and Madcans being able to read things with that game, using the lights as well is going to be pretty big. So I think they're definitely like finals, surely finals for them.
And Spider is a player that has been on teams like Darwin specifically stands out, where they've been able to make an enormous last day climb, and it did involve like a mid to late game dump. So like the decision making of that can be a little bit more well informed, I guess, with the lights on the roof. So that is an interesting point. And Madcans is a smart player, so he would definitely be the type of player to take advantage of, all the information he can get.
Like speaking of dumping, like OneUp being another team that kind of does that as well as Madcans, at least with being on Storm, and they did a bunch of late game dumps this year, I think. So aside from Spider, who I guess he's done in the past, like that's still a dump team in a maze that's going to be presumably good with it now with the lights. But then you just have a really solid set of players doing it too, despite the fact that the mixed team side of things.
I reckon that the current iteration of this maze is not conducive to dumping, because there's so much space, so many spaces where you can sit sort of central, particularly like green and blue base. There's a lot of places you can sit where you can just see both doors and just ruin anyone that wants to be near that door.
Cool. So you get Spider to do that every game for their team, so you stop other people from dumping. Like, he does the things.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like you can have one of those things where it's going to be a game where you can have a lot of control of it, then a team looks at the lights and goes, oh shit, let's go throw a game at someone. And then it becomes, who do they throw it at?
Well, so Pug, I'm guessing you had Behemoth in second.
Yeah.
Phynn, you had Behemoth in fifth. How, now that we've kind of talked about that, if we just did it as it was, we'd have OneUp in third, but does anyone want to kind of change anything after the discussion?
I'd be happy to put Behemoth here and OneUp in second, I think. I think I'd be fine with that. Like,
I'd be okay with that. I'd love to make finals.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like, I just see OneUp in finals generally.
Okay, so Behemoth second for now. Third for now, sorry.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Second place, who did y'all have?
I actually had Shark Lips. This is where I originally placed them in my panic prep in the last 5-10 minutes before jumping on.
Shark Lips. Pug?
Yeah, I had Behemoth.
You had Behemoth. And Phynn, who did you have?
Blue Steel.
Oh, wow. This is shaped out very interestingly. Okay. Well, just by process of elimination, because Blue Steel's already been placed 2 spots ago. Shark Lips was placed 3 spots and then 2 spots ago. And OneUp hasn't been... Well, OneUp should have been placed already by now, but haven't been.
Yep.
This makes no sense. There they are.
OneUp by default. 2 greatest words in the English language. Default.
We'll get the first place predictions, and then we can talk about the top 3 final predictions together, and maybe we'll have a shift. So Peregrin, who do you have in first?
Guys, I have a good feeling about this one.
Yep. Okay. Fantastic. All right, let me get OneUp, Behemoth, and Vantage on the screen. So, how do we feel about this finals I guess that's one way we could talk about is like not just like in terms of the placings, but let's say in the grand finals we have Behemoth, 1UP, and Vantage. How do you see that grand finals playing out?
Hopefully with some laser tag packs, that'd be kind of cool.
True. I really think Behemoth could pull a second. Like I think.
I genuinely think he could go on honestly either way. Like I put Vantage up at first, just out of a race, I think, out of anything, because they are absolutely like it's just a collection of cracked players. Like it's a big core of Catalyst, and then Pug, who's just insane. I say this as someone who has had to train like 8 sessions in the last 2 weeks against this guy, and just got house handed to me consistently. So I can't do anything with this guy. That said, with trigger lockout currently in place, the Catalyst guys do not feel anywhere near as terrifying as they have in the past. Like there seems to be a general feel, a general sense from a lot of the players I think in Queensland that have gone and stood next to Wax and gone, oh, easy, okay, and genuinely had not too hard of a time dealing with it.
Yeah.
Dealing with him. He's still amazing. He's still incredible. He's adapting really fast and really quickly. But there's definitely a lot of that, like that fear factor has just dropped off from a lot of players.
Yeah.
Phynn, what's your thoughts? How do you see this? How do you see this finals playing out?
I mean, I didn't expect Behemoth here, but I reckon if they're in, they're probably more likely to pull like a random, like a sudden second, like really pull up. I kind of just figured, yeah, like 1UP's making it to finals, and wow, Vantage in first, really?
Who'd have thought?
Whoa. And I think I've heard a little bit of a couple of people talking about the 60 MS against the like Catalyst Vantage players and how they're feeling about it. So yeah, like it might be an easier time for the other teams, but I think they're still going to be like better overall. But I guess we'll see.
And Pug. Oh no, Peregrin, you go. You got something to say?
Guinea does make a good point that like they've got 3 of the 1UP players there that do not get to play laser tag outside of pre-nats and nats. So it's always going to be for them like a bit of a
they're still pretty consistent though. They just rock up.
They're still pretty
consistent. For not playing, they're pretty nice.
But there you've put them in a setup here in a finals where you've got 10 other players, 10, 12 other players that are training multiple times a week.
Yeah. Me looking at it, I would personally have I didn't do predictions for this, but looking at just the grand final, I'd probably get 1UP third, Behemoth second, and Vantage first. That would make a lot of sense for me because it's funny, like every prediction stream, the 1UP guys just get predicted like really high, and every single time one of them's in the chat, usually Guinea, is like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then we get to the review and we see they're down like X spots from predictions, and it's like, well, what happened?
My hot take is going to pay off later.
It's funny.
Also made a good point, but like Cratchy and Guinea played Lockout recently because they went to the Open and they like it. They seem to like it, which is scary to know. Like we think they're going to be good and they like it, which means they probably are good.
Was the Open played on 1 shot per second stuns?
Man's obsessed.
Yeah.
You let us know, Guinea. Just because it was H Pro and 60 MS, so that'll be like good for them. But just the way 1 shot per second stuns plays with trigger lockout is quite different to two shots per second. So it is like worth pointing out. But I don't know.
Apparently they still did well on 2 shots a second because they did doubles on it and they won.
There you go. There's Budza and Murphy or whatever. What was their name?
It was Budza and Maggie.
Budza and
BOD.
Margie. That's an old player name for anyone that remembers that. Cool. Does anyone want to, just looking at this as a grand final and after our discussion, want to shift? We'll keep Behemoth 1UP advantage in the top 3, but does anyone want to shift the placements of them at all? or are we happy with Vantage first, 1UP second, Behemoth third?
I'm gonna go back on my original thing and put Behemoth second.
I'll back that. I'll back us.
Whoa, really? Yeah, like I can see it happening as well. I reckon if they're gonna pull a second.
Yeah, I think there's an edge there where it can happen. Like you gotta keep in mind. So we've got Firebird there, like leading a lot of the charge of that game. And man can read a game like a motherfucker. Like despite the lights, man's gonna be looking ahead of the lights.
So Behemoth is going to be edging the 1UP boys.
That's our specialty.
Yep.
You say it like that.
Like what? Awesome. Okay. Well, cool. There we have it, everyone. So from 13th to 1st, we have, what's the full name? Enter Teams. Okay. Enter Team 6 in 13th, Synergy in 12th, Talk 30 to me, which is an awesome team name. They get the prize for best team name in 11th. Bean's Boyfriends in 10th. Professors in 9th. Warriors in 8th. The boys are back in town in 7th. Beep Beep in 6th. Blue Steel 5th. Shark Lips in 4th. 1UP in 3rd. Behemoth or Bemoth in 2nd. And Vantage in 1st. Fantastic. Now that that's all wrapped up, has anyone got any closing thoughts?
Wax is going to get carried. That's all I'm going to say.
Max, hard carried. You can definitely see that. I mean, it being the thing.
That being said, I remember what was it? It was a Prenats 1 for Albury, which was on Nexus, which has an inherent trigger lockout. I'm not sure what value it is. I think it feels like it's more than 60 MS on Nexus. But Wax did quite well on that tournament. So I don't know, like I'm sure he's been like complaining
he's
a lot
well
during training, but like come competition time, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like
I think it's going to be more of an endurance thing as to whether or not he can stop himself from having an aneurysm and just looking out.
Popping a vein, yeah. Yeah, cool. Any other closing thoughts?
No.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really cool comp. There's like a lot of really interesting team combinations that are coming through. Like there's nothing. I think looking at like all the teams, the only team that I saw that the whole thing that I was like, oh yeah, I know that's going to be a consistent. That's an okay, good team. Like was Vantage. Everything else was kind of like, oh, that's different. That's new. That's going to be an interesting combination. So I think I'm excited to see where it all lines up.
Yeah. No, I was saying before the stream when we were talking about the things that are different and stuff, and also now seeing like players like Blitz and Adam who are making a little comeback, but probably only for pre-nuts. This is definitely I definitely wish I'd been able to make it to this tournament to be able to try the 60 MS on 2 shots per second at a like on not Nexus. At like a Zoltak type tournament, to be able to just see what kind of an impact the lights saying who's winning has, and just seeing some players that is making a little bit of a comeback. That would have been it's definitely a tournament that people that aren't going are kind of missing out on. That being said, I do know a lot of the sentiment, at least from people like Aftershock players, for instance, as we were thinking about going, but it was a big thing. Like we're trying to only play like 1 shot per second stuns at the moment, so it's just a bit of like an unfortunate timing of Prenats 1 being before Worlds, because we're trying to not like flip flop between the different shot rates and stuff. But it is what it is. It seems like there's still lots of really, really good players, some really cool teams, some really cool changes at this Prenats 1, and a fresh arena, which I'm really looking forward to see how that plays. I don't know. I've got nothing else to say. Has anyone got any little sign-offs or anything?
Be good.
No.
Love your mother.
Yep. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. Say bless you when someone sneezes.
Get to training.
Yeah. Cool. Fantastic. All right. Do I have any LSA stuff to announce? Maybe? No. No, I don't think so. Not yet. Maybe soon. Cool. Otherwise, in terms of streams, probably the next stream, I guess, will be a review stream for this. And then not long after that, we'll be getting into like prediction streams and stuff for the World Championships, which is going to be very exciting. But yeah, Pre-Nets 1 this weekend. Training is on the Friday, but then the actual game, like playing, is the Saturday and the Sunday. So be sure to give that a watch. We'll probably post in the LSA group in case anyone misses it. The links, relevant links and stuff, and the schedule and all of that. And I'll post a screenshot or something of the final predictions. But yeah, cool. Thank you very much, Peregrin, Pug, and Phynn, for joining me. You gents did great. Good discussion. Good hot takes. I'm here for it. It was awesome. I don't know. I'm just yapping. I got nothing else to say.
That was a blast.
That was it.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Thank you.
Stay positive.
Goodbye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.